Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with the first project video for the junk journal planner that I talked about in a previous video, where I'm using this old vintage book as my base, and I'm going to be creating a planner junk journal style. So what I mean by that is I'm going to put in some grunge, some vintage, I'm going to put some lace pockets, I'm going to put in some of my favorite papers and make it something that's pleasing to look at, something that I look forward to opening, that I look forward to working in. It's not a planner that I would ever take out of my studio. I work at a school with small children. I don't really have any need to take any of my stuff anywhere outside of my home. But so we're going to get going on this. Today we are going to cover the book, and we're going to put the papers on the inside covers, hopefully, and put. Yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm doing on the inside yet. We'll have to kind of figure that out together. So I have my PVA glue and my Fabri-Tac. I like to use both when adhering my fabric to my cover. And then I have a plate here for putting out my PVA glue, so I have just a place here to dip into. So I'm going to set this fabric aside because I'm not going to be using it today, I don't think. I might use it for the inside, I'm not sure. But we're going to cut this on camera as well. And then we'll take a little bit of a pause and we'll let everything dry. And then in today's video, I will also come back and we'll put our holes in. So it's just going to have two eyelets, top and bottom. So got my sewing scissors there to cut my fabric, and I wanted to show you this because I told you in the previous video, let me move this stuff, in the previous video that I needed to reinforce this spine. And so basically what I did is I put 3 strips of this gaffer tape, really cool stuff. So I put 3 pieces overlapping on the inside and on the outside, so that should be enough to stabilize that. And I'm hoping that my fabric is not going to show. It should be thick enough to camouflage that purple. Let's hope. I didn't even look at this. Par for the course for me these days. Yeah. Whoops. Whoa. Should be fine. I don't see anything peeking through. So let me go ahead and move some of this stuff out of the way now that I've introduced you to the supplies. And while I'm getting ready here, I want to give you a quick update. So I mentioned in a previous video that I had what I thought was food poisoning, and it turns out it was not food poisoning. I have gallstones, so that is a direct result of my previous parathyroid disease issue, and so now I'm going to have gallbladder surgery. So I am really uncomfortable, not able to eat very much, not able to, I mean, it's just tough. Like, it doesn't matter what I put in my stomach, I am sick. It hasn't gotten to the crescendo of pain that I experienced in that first week, but it definitely is a huge problem. So that's just a quick update for you guys. I know that there's many of you that those things matter to you as far as the updates. So if it doesn't, you can you can dismiss it. But again, as I mentioned in a previous video, it's who I am. I'm a relational person. This is how I'm built. So that is all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my fabric here and just kind of estimate. I'm sorry if you guys won't be able to see everything. My camera is about as far up as it can go. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay my book down like this. And usually people only leave a little bit, like an inch maybe. I tend to leave a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this, and I'll speed that part up and I'll be right back. Okay, just tossing that excess aside here. So this is again going to be our the outside cover. I love how fabric tears. Isn't that so cool? It's not exactly straight. Hopefully we didn't go way off the grid. That's another reason why I like to allow a little more, because you could see that it didn't tear quite evenly. So I've got, it's a little shorter on this edge, but that is okay. And I apologize for the light. I'm not sure if I should shut the shade. Let me try it really quick. Oh, that's better. I don't like to shut the shade generally because I like to feel that sun and light coming in, but that was a little bit intense. So there we go. So what I do, and again, this is just my process, is I go ahead and put all of my PVA glue. Well, I start with one side, so I'll probably cover this whole panel with my PVA glue and my Fabri-Tac, and I'll spread it out with a brush, and then I will turn this over and lay it on my fabric. So, and then I'll work in a little bit of a different manner, because it'll be flipped and stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh my goodness. Trying to get my PVA glue open here. It's clogged. Ah. There we go. So on the plus side, you know, there's always a positive to every negative. I am losing weight like crazy. I think I'm down like 12 pounds, which isn't, this is not the way you want to lose weight, but I'm hoping to take advantage of it and let it kind of retrain my mind and my stomach about what it needs for food, and just hopefully it's a reset for my eating habits. I don't know. So just going to give this a good coat of the PVA glue. And yeah, and I like to use plenty, just to be sure that everything is nice and sealed up when we're done. I always like to get it on the edge as well. I don't know what others use. I think PVA glue is a popular choice. You know what? I don't think I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac today. Let's try something different. I'm hoping that this is going to stick okay. You see how it's beading up on that gaffer tape? I'm hoping that that's not going to be a problem. I guess we're going to find out together. I'm going to set that aside. I'm even going to move my mouse here before I stop the video by hitting it. And so we don't have to be too concerned at this point about upside down, you know, which direction we're going. I'm just going to flip this over like that and put it down. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of center it as best I can. It looks pretty good. And then I just kind of give that a press just to kind of get it to grab before I turn it over. And then I will turn it over. And let me see if my image is straight though. Oh, the image looks really, really good, I think. Does it? Just kind of trying to look at the bottom of the words. It looks pretty straight. Pretty darn straight. So there we go. So I like to just give it a really good press and really make sure that that's all smooth and there's no wrinkles. I'm excited about this fabric. I just love anything Paris and French, so this is just right up my alley. So what I meant by being upside down, so now I will just peel this back, and I do peel it back past where I had ended my glue, so that I can kind of really make sure I've got plenty in there for this next bit. So now I'll probably go to the other side of the spine here. I'd love to hear how you guys do this. Like, how do you cover your journals? What kinds of different ways have you done that? I tend toward fabric almost, you know, probably 9 times out of 10. But I'm kind of curious about what you guys like. So I'm just going to press that out. Just pushing it. There we go. And I'm not going to stretch it really because I don't want to distort the actual coverage area. I want it to just be where it is, and like so. And I'm really hoping that that it's going to stick to that gaffer tape. I didn't think about that, and I did not test it out. So just using my fingernail to kind of go along the sides of the spine. Need a little bit more PVA glue. It's off camera here, guys, off to my right. And I'm just going to pull that. And again, I do go back a little bit to where I previously ended. There we go. Finish this baby off, and then we'll flip her over and turn in the edges and all of that beautiful beautifulness. So after I've done that, I do kind of try to pick it up and just give that, oh, I like the flexibility of that spine. I know it's going to be strong enough. I'm not concerned about that. So I'm going to wipe up this glue before I put this the other way around. There we go. I really don't want to set it on wet either, so let me grab a paper towel. There we go. So, funny story. You want to hear a funny story? I bought a pair of jeans and I was trying to hem them because I'm short, and I'm in here fussing with my machine, had to rethread the bobbin and all that, and I couldn't get the bobbin thread to pick up, and so I had my husband in here. I started taking apart the machine, and don't you know, I was turning, you know how you turn your manual wheel, I was turning it the wrong way. You have to turn it towards yourself. I thought I was going to have to go buy a new machine. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Oh, my husband is an angel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I like to start with the long edges first. Well, I actually start with the corners and then the long edges. So let me, and I just do this. I don't cut those corners because I don't have a lot of success at that. So I'm just going to do it the way that I typically do. So I'm just going to put some PVA glue on there. And I just like to try to keep it at that 90-degree angle if I can, as best I can. And then I'm just going to do the other four corners here real quick. So anyway, with my husband, he was so sweet because I was so frustrated and I felt so stupid about the machine. And he's like, you know, when you don't feel well, you know, your brain doesn't work. Your brain doesn't work the same, right? And I'm like, yeah, clearly. So I have a really hard time not beating myself up. Feeling stupid is one of my big gremlins, as Brene Brown would say. You know, gremlins are kind of the lies that you believe, and the tapes that tend to be your nemesis, and being stupid is one of them for me. Even though I know I'm not stupid, but it's a hard one, really hard one. So I'm just putting the glue, the PVA glue, up on this edge, and I am putting it along the edge too. So the top flat edge as well as the edge of the book. And then I like to start in the middle, and I just give this a tug. I pull it in and I give it a tug. Now again, that gaffer's tape is a crapshoot as far as I'm concerned, because I do not know how it's going to behave. I need to get a little bit more glue in there. Sorry, I'm off camera, you guys. So I'm just going to start at that corner, and I'm just going to work that up as the same. I just kind of pull it up, press it up, so that it kind of stretches that fabric. And then I'm just going to wipe that excess glue off. Here we go. Move on to this corner as well. So I'm going to continue in the same fashion, and I'm just going to speed up the video just a smidge. Okay, last edge here. You do get pretty sticky doing it the way that I do it because I do use my fingers a lot, but you know, we're washable. And I'll show you the corners here in a second, which is probably why people don't do it this way, because you do get these kind of weird corners, but I don't mind it too much, so I'll show you in a second. It's more or less, it's worse on thicker fabrics, this corner issue. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on top because I feel like that's lifting up. And the same here. Just helps those corners to stay down. These other ones look pretty good, but this is the corner issue that I'm talking about. But on the outside, you can't really tell. That doesn't look straight now. Goodness, what happened? How did that happen? Oh, look, it's going up. Good thing perfection is not at play in my studio. It's not a big deal. Don't sweat the big stuff or small stuff, you guys. This is the small stuff. Okay, so we're all kind of cleaned up here. So now I need to think about what I want to do with the inside, because we have to be able to cover this. As you guys know, we need to cover that spine, and it's easier. I mean, I don't know if I could just put a piece of paper here and then just cover the other bits with an image. So, but the thing is you have to think about this. So this is just an example. So I could probably do, this is a smaller page. Let me get one that's a regular size here. So see how that would work? I could totally use a piece of paper, but we need to be able to cover, I tend to like to go for the fabric, so I think I'm going to do that by using the polka dot fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of this, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, just about there. Okay. Just get rid of the excessive strings here, threads. Come on. There we go. Alrighty. Looks like we've got a few more here. Just going to clip them here. We don't continue to unravel. I don't mind the unraveling. That's part of the reason why I like to do this. So I'm really bummed about that cover being crooked, but I'll probably be decorating this cover anyway. So what I'll probably do is do something to take away from the places where it looks super crooked. Oh my goodness. Oh well, live and learn. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and glue this on here, and in the same fashion with the PVA glue. I prefer it even on fabric in this process to Fabri-Tac. Sometimes I'll use both, but I've kind of moved away from that, I guess. So again, I'm going to start with half and move from this side to the other side. And I am going kind of all the way to the edge here because it doesn't hurt, because this kind of acts as a sealant as well, this PVA glue. So it'll kind of stabilize that fabric. So I really don't want these strings in here because I think they'll show. So I'm going to grab my non-sewing scissors and just clip that. I don't want that in there. Nor do I want that in there. I should have looked at that a little bit more carefully. Probably not gonna, it's not gonna matter. It's gonna be covered up, Cara-Renee. It's gonna have paper on it. So, I mean, you might think that that's a wasteful use of the fabric, but I go with what is easy for me and what I feel like I'm gonna be most successful with. So, you do you, okay? I like to fold this in half so that I'm working with, I'm kind of having to only deal with a piece of it, you know, in terms of laying it down and all that. And then I can kind of open it up, and then if I need to move it, I can move it. This is beautiful fabric to go with this Paris fabric for sure. So I'm just going to scooch that just a little bit more. Come on. Come on. It's not really moving, is it? There we go. So again, just smoothing it out. Again, none of this is going to show. And even if we've got a little bit of an overhang, which it looks like we might here, or it's going a little bit closer to the edge, which is not a big deal. There we go. Fold that back, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I'm just going to speed this part up. Okay, just about done. And then I'm going to step away and let this dry. And I'm going to look in my stack of papers that I printed and see what I want to put on the inside and out, the inside front and back covers. And then I'll be back with you. Okay, it's a toss-up here. So I really like this paper. I think I want this for this side of the inside cover. It's a little bit weird because it's smaller, and then I think I want this one for the other side, for the back. So what I'm going to do is I need to figure out, it's going to work that way, so it's not too wide, but it's a little bit shorter than I would normally have it be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as my guide. I'm trying to find a pencil here. Where are my pencils? Wow, that's weird. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use it as my guide and make this piece of paper the same size. So I'm just going to kind of go like that. And I'm just going to make, let's see, I wonder if I want to, I think I'd rather go up this direction, like so, and take it off of the bottom, and then off of this side. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cutter out and just make that quick work here. So in case I forgot to mention it, this is a inspired video from Heather at Rose Hill Paper Cottage. That's where I got the idea. I think it was epic. I love how her junk journal planner turned out, and so that's where I got the idea. So here we go. Boy, oh boy, having trouble here. There we go. One more. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to ink around these edges because I really like that look. I like that vintage look. So, and I'm going to just stand up and shut my door because I don't want my husband to come into the house while I'm filming. Not that he makes a lot of noise or anything, but it kind of makes me a little anxious. So let me ink this up and then we'll get this glued on. So in case you missed the first video, I want to talk with you a little bit about the thought process here. So the idea for me is that I am going to, the base will remain the same from year to year. This will remain the same from year to year. This will remain the same from year to year. The things that I put into the signature will probably change for me. I know that Heather, she did her project and then she used it, and then she came back and she did a video on how it worked out, and she said it worked out really well for her. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I mean, as far as the functionality, but I will be changing mine up. She just came back on video and she pulled out papers that were used, but she left a lot of the base in. So hope that makes sense. Oh, I need to cap this PVA glue. Where's the lid? Lid, where are you? That's all I need, is to have that spill all over my desk. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to glue this down. So this is going to go, I think I want it to go that way. And then the all the calendar pages are going to clip to the back of this, this page. So I am thinking that I'm just going to put this down. I might put some lace at the top or something. I'm not going to probably do that on camera. I will come back for another video and show you what I'm going to do next. Well, my Fabri-Tac is plugged up here. I don't usually have to squeeze this hard. There we go. We wanted it this way though. The image itself doesn't really matter what direction it goes. I'm just minding the this edge here where the book is going to open and close. We want to make sure that that doesn't get bound in any way, because that's going to be used from year to year. So I'm just going to give that a good press. I might even put some lace over this, just to kind of protect these pages and have it cover the spine and then come over a bit. We'll see. We'll see about that. There we go. And I want this one to go this way because I want to see these flowers, and I figure we can cover up a little bit of the bottom of this with some lace. So, boy, oh boy, I need to address this glue here. What's going on here? It's been really, really, really hot here in Washington State. Really hot. And so glues don't tend to really respond well, although the house is cool, so I don't know. That theory probably doesn't hold true, because there's central heating and air, so the house stays really, really cool. Very pleasant, very grateful. So we want this to go this way, and I'm just going to try to line it up in terms of the distance from the bottom and the top as the back page. So again, just checking that area there to make sure that there's no chance of that binding. So scooching it over a little bit. There we go. So while this is drying, and I make sure that this is nice and dry, I'm going to go ahead and play around with some lace on this pot for this pocket here, and then we will put our eyelets in, and then we'll be done for today. So lace. I'm going to get some vintage lace, or some not vintage, some coffee dyed lace. So let's see what we've got here. This is my favorite of all time, right here. But there's other stuff in here. So I'm just going to take a peek real quick and see if there's anything else that is really speaking to me. I need to kind of organize this little bin a little bit more so that I can actually see everything that's in it. So this is another lace that I have. So, but I think this is going to make a deeper pocket, but it's still not going to be deep enough. That's not going to be enough of a pocket for me. And then this is not any thicker, so hold on. Let's see if we can find like a vintage something in here. So this is where I keep my all my doilies and things I've collected, some ephemera, and see if we can find something that will fit as a pocket here. So that's really lovely, isn't it? I don't think that will really work either. What about, oh, this is just a strip. Isn't this gorgeous? This might be pretty somewhere else though. I know it seems kind of silly to use something so beautiful in a planner, but This planner is for me to make me smile. So I'm gonna make it, that looks similar to the other one I just pulled out. That's weird. I don't have a lot. Oh, there's 2 of those. Interesting. I didn't realize I had 2 of those. But so again, they're not the right thing. And I want them to be kind of vintagey. I don't want them to be super bold. This would be perfect. This is it right here. I do have to cut it though, which is a sad, sad thing, but we're gonna do it. And I am going to butt it up over here. Well, you know, what am I gonna do? Because I don't know how you really, because you got to think about, well, this isn't a very wide weave, so it's probably, things are probably not going to get caught in it. But I'm wondering if I should glue this onto a piece of vellum or something, and then cut around it so that I can have something behind it. So give me just a second here. Sorry about this. Normally I'm a little bit more prepared than this. So I think what I'm going to do is stick this on here, and I'm going to just, it doesn't have to be very deep. Let's see what the middle point is on that doily right here. So it would be here on that bend. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that whole thing down on the vellum. I've never done this before, so it could be a complete disaster. I'm not sure. Lining that up there. It's a pretty deep pocket. I'm wondering if I should move that down. I am going to do that. Sorry, guys. I feel like that's a little bit too deep of a pocket. Maybe that's a little bit more appropriate. So, in case you're not tracking with me, the idea here is to create a back on this lace so that things don't get stuck. And it's also easier to adhere this way, in my opinion. So, let me just clean off this surface here. We're just about done, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and try to trim this out, see how well this goes. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, this is a struggle. Trying to trim around these scalloped edges of this lace, or this doily, is tricky, but I will persevere. So I will continue on. This would obviously work better if your piece of lace or whatever you're using is more, you know, rectangular or square. And this wouldn't be such a big deal, but we can do it, right? We can do it. And if some of the doily shows, I'm not too concerned about that either. Just gonna go with it. I don't even mind if the doily gets broken down a little bit in terms of getting frayed, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's on this vellum. I'll probably add more glue, probably off camera, just to make sure that everything is So So guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the eyelets off camera because the video is going long, and it's just a normal eyelet set process. I tested it out on a like book thickness because I am not an expert at eyelet setting, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't ruin my cover, so fingers crossed, right? I think Heather was not able to put eyelets in her. She just did holes because she didn't have eyelets that were deep enough. But oh my goodness, I'm having trouble with that little edge. Oh. Let me get my fussy cuts here. Fussy cut scissors. There we go. That's what I should have been using. There we go. So let's go ahead and glue this on really quick. And then I will bid you farewell. Oh, I love that. Look at that. It is so cool. Now I do have to address the edges because you see how we've got this edge here. It's not going to work. So let me cut off the bottom first, and then we'll problem solve the rest of it. Oh, not the sewing scissors. Okay. And then, oh, look at that. I got way from there. Gosh. What was I thinking? There we go. Let's just get that glued down. It's the rest of it's pretty well glued. I'm going to have to just go with it. So I hope that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. We've got to cut up to this point because we're too wide. So I'm just going to cut, and this makes it easier too with that vellum on the back. So there we go. And then, was that moderately straight? Not really. Holy Toledo. Well, you know, it's vintage, right? It is vintage. We're gonna just embrace it. There we go. So there's that, and there's that. Ooh, I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and glue it down. So we're going to glue, I'm not going to glue up here on this edge. I'm just going to glue here, here, and here. And I am going to use my Fabri-Tac. I will also probably put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on those raw edges now that don't have that, where the stitching has been interrupted by my cutting. So that will help to make sure it does not get seriously out of control in terms of fraying over time. So I love that. I hope you guys like it, you guys. So I will be back in another video, and we will start working on making what I decided I was going to do. I think I mentioned in the other video that I was going to do 1 month of papers together for you on camera, and we'll also probably do the cover on camera. But then I think I'm just going to make packets for every month and just pre-make the ones that I want, and I can probably put 3 in here, or 4, maybe even 5 in here at a time, and then I can just cycle the past months out. That's my thinking, but I've never done this before, so I could be completely off base. So there we go. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.